Hey everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing the Cheesecake Factory in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So the Cheesecake Factory is a restaurant that has a very notorious menu for being extremely long with a lot of different things, including Asian food, Mexican food, Italian, American, and the most amazing cheesecakes you can ever have. So let's first start off with our bread service. Anybody that's purchasing an entree is offered free bread as soon as they get there. It is a white baguette and then a wheat baguette. The white baguette is crusty on the outside, soft on the inside, and the brown bread is just soft all the way around, and it has these oats that are on the outside. Now, me personally, I prefer the brown bread to the white bread just because it's just softer and I like that texture better than having the crusty baguette, but both are very good and very good with the butter. You can just tell by how creamy the butter is that it actually is butter and not like a margarine, and usually they'll give you butter that's already pre-softened, which makes it so much easier to glide on. So for our appetizer, we actually ended up getting the fried macaroni and cheese, which is a crispy crumb coated macaroni and cheese ball served over a creamy marinara sauce, and it is so good. I can't even describe how good it is. It's crunchy on the outside, fried to perfection, and then as soon as you cut it open, it's this beautiful silky macaroni and cheese, and it's the kind of macaroni and cheese that I personally prefer. It's nice and creamy without being watery. It's also served on top of a sauce, and the sauce is almost like tomato bisque. I wouldn't say it's a marinara just because it's too fragrant to be just a marinara, but it pairs so nicely with mac and cheese balls. It totally reminds me of when you were a kid and you would eat grilled cheese in a tomato soup. Totally have to get this anytime you go to the Cheesecake Factory. It's one of those items that is done so often by other places, but it's perfected by so few. We even ended up liking the sauce so much that we were dunking our bread in the sauce just to get some more of that bisque sauce up. So let's move on to my boyfriend got the Smokehouse BBQ Burger. It's a burger and it comes with smoked bacon and melted cheddar with crispy onion strings and a barbecue ranch sauce. I thought this burger was very balanced. I thought between the barbecue sauce and the crispy onion straws and the bacon, I thought everything tasted well together. Also, there is a side of fries on the side. The fries were perfectly cooked, crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, and perfectly seasoned as well. Just the right amount of salt, not too much, not too little, but the burger was nice and juicy, which was actually a good thing. It wasn't the best burger that we've ever had, but it definitely wasn't the worst either. It's definitely one of those items where I probably would order it again just because it's got all of those comfort items that I want on a burger and those flavors that just taste so well on a burger as well. So what I got was the chicken Riesling. It's chicken breast, mushrooms, bacon, onions, and garlic, and a white wine Riesling cream sauce with buttered Parmesan pasta. So Riesling is, if you don't know what Riesling is, it is a white wine, kind of on the sweeter side. It could be dry if depending on what kind you get. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this dish the next day as opposed to the day of. The day of, the pasta was just kind of bland. It actually was cooked al dente, which is good. That's what I like. The parsley flakes on top didn't really help it too much, and I couldn't taste the Parmesan in the pasta either. The most flavor came from the bacon and the mushrooms themselves, which the chicken was covered in mushrooms and bacon. So a lot of the flavor of the dish itself came from the mushrooms and the bacon, which I'm not gonna hate on that for obvious reason. The sauce was really good. I just wish I would have had more sauce incorporated into the pasta as opposed to just the meat and the mushrooms and the bacon, because let me tell you, when it sat in my fridge the next day, it got better. So I can only imagine what it would taste like if my pasta would have been dressed in the same sauce. Overall, I thought it was just an okay dish. Probably wouldn't order it again. The flavors were there, but it just was a little bit too one note-ish for me. It wasn't as complex of a dish as I was hoping it would be, which is a shame because the chicken was cooked perfectly. Pasta was too, so it's just the lacking of the flavor in there that made it kind of not as pleasant to eat as some other items. So we actually ended up getting 2 desserts as well. The one that I ended up with was the chocolate hazelnut crunch cheesecake. It's a chocolate hazelnut cheesecake topped with hazelnut crunch and Nutella, which, come on, who doesn't love Nutella? As I bite into it, it was so creamy, not overpowering overpowering creamy, just creamy enough that it was so pleasant to taste. Also, if you like coffee, you would probably like this as well. I don't believe there's coffee in it, but it's got that hazelnut flavor. So if you like coffee, you'd probably like this as well. So from start to finish, the cheesecake was very smooth, and then that Nutella on top just kind of put it over the edge on the sweetness, which is what I like actually. I like my desserts very sweet. So having that mild cheesecake and then that Nutella finish really made this cheesecake very good to me. And I would definitely probably end up ordering it again just because it was light, but it wasn't too light. The cheesecake that my boyfriend ended up getting was the Oreo Dream Extreme Cheesecake. And this, my friends, is definitely extreme. It's an Oreo cookie base topped with creamy cheesecake and layers of fudge cake and Oreo cookie mousse topped with a milk chocolate icing. This dessert is no joke. It starts off like a good time and you're eating it and you're like, this is pretty good, but it's very thick, especially with the cake and the icing. Then you get towards the end of the cheesecake and it just keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker. My boyfriend actually didn't end up eating his, and because I was so full at this point, I couldn't even eat it either. So unfortunately, a couple bites ended up going to the garbage, but it is a sweet cheesecake and it was way too sweet for me. So if you are a chocoholic, and I mean you got to be a hardcore chocoholic to enjoy this cheesecake, because otherwise it would be way too sweet for it. So all in all, our food experience was a little bit above average, I would say. What really set our meal apart than any other meal that we've had, especially there and just recently, was the service. Our waiter was top notch. If I could remember his name, I would definitely give him a shout out. His service was top notch, unlike any other service I've ever had. One of the best waiters I've ever had in my life. He really honestly could be working in fine dining because he was addressing us as sir and ma'am, and he was getting refills for us all the time. He was making recommendations for us. You know, it's not that often you come in contact with a waiter that really enjoys their job and is good at customer service, that's willing to take the time to sit there and try to recommend something based off of what you might like. And it really made us feel good to have that kind of service, because that means, you know, you definitely kind of care about what you're doing. So initially I was going to rate it a certain rating, but because of him, it actually made my rating go up all the way around. So the TripAdvisor, Yelp, and Google rating is actually going to be 4.5 out of 5, and then our Food Adventures rating is going to be 8 out of 10. And it would have been lower, but thanks to him and his incredible service that night, it definitely bumped it up higher than would have normally been. So that was my review of the Cheesecake Factory down in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Let me know in the comments section where you think I should eat next. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.